I bow to all the seekers of truth.
我向各位追求真理的人鞠躬。
At the very outset,
在大地上来讲，
you have to know that truth is what it is.
你必须要了解真理是什么东西，就是它根本是不会变化的。
You cannot change it.
你不能够改变它，
You cannot conceptualize it.
你也不能用脑子去想象。
And unfortunately, at human level,
很不幸的，在我们现今的人类状况之下变化。
with human awareness, you cannot know it.
在人的世界上，你没办法觉察到。
Now, whatever I am going to tell you today here,
今天不管我要告诉你的是什么，
you should not follow it blindfolded.
你不要盲目的追求。
We have had lots of problems with blind faith.
我们有很多的问题，
But if it is proved
但是假如它是真的呢？
so treat it like a hypothesis, and if it is proved, then you have to accept it as honest people.
所以我们要把这个我所说的话当做一个，先当做一种假设你证实它的话，你就要接受它，你就要谦虚的去接受它。
Because it is for your benevolence,
因为这个知识是对你是有利的，
benevolence of your family,
对你的家庭都有很大的益处，
benevolence of your country,
对你的国家都很有益处，
and benevolence of the whole world.
甚至对全世界的人都有益处。
Most of the problem, if you face,
大部分你所面对的问题，
come from
从
human beings in this world.
这个人类自己制造出来的。
We create the problems.
我们创造这些问题的。
And these problems, unfortunately, come from the subtle center, from these chakras.
而且这些问题是从我们的实体供给，我们的身体这个实体供给轮管上面产生的。
If these centers are in jeopardy,
假如这些中心轮管不好的话，
then you have problems,
你就会产生各种身体上的不同，
emotional problems,
情绪上的不适，
spiritual problems,
生理上的不适。
and collectively then you have political, economic and other problems.
在集合体上、团体上，你会有各种经济上的问题。
So, we have to know what is the truth.
所以我们必须要了解什么是真理。
The truth is that you are not this body, mind, your emotions, your intelligence, but you are the pure spirit.
真理不是你的身体，也不是你所脑子所想的，也不是你的智慧，而是你要跟原始真理圣灵认同。
You see these beautiful flowers.
你可以看到这台上的漂亮的花朵。
And we don't know that this is a miracle.
你可以看出来，它不是像奇迹一样吗？
We take all living work for granted.
我们把这种实际的东西认为是天赐的。
In the same way, if we ask a doctor who runs our heart,
同样的道理，假如我们问医生，问这个心脏科的医生，
he will say, it's the autonomous nervous system.
他会告诉你说，这个心脏是属于自主神经系统的一部分。
But who is this auto?
什么是自主呢？
So there are many things which cannot be answered through science.
所以有科学你很难了解这个问题。
Because science has its own limitations.
因为科学是有限的。
It cannot answer the question, why are we on this earth?
它不能解答说我们为什么生存在这个世界上。
It cannot answer the question, what is the purpose of our evolution?
它不能解答我们人类演进的因素。
Why have we become human beings?
为什么我们成为人类？
For this, one has to know that our human awareness is also limited.
所以我们必须知道，我们身体的知觉也是有限，目前有限的。
So something more has to happen to us in our evolutionary process.
因此，在我们身体的演进，我们必须要更进一步的进入另外一个境界。
Moreover, we do not know what is the absolute truth.
我们要不然的话，就没办法知道什么是绝对的真理。
Somebody says this is good, somebody says that is good, and there are so many discussions, arguments, and wars.
有的人就说这个事情是好的，有人说那个事情是好的，所以我们事实上就没办法界定到底是哪一个是好的。
If we are all human beings the same, and our brains are the same, why should we have different ideas?
假如说我们将成为同样的人的话，为什么我们会有不一样的思想？
And why should we fight?
为什么要互相争吵、争斗？
Why should we kill each other?
为什么要互相残杀？
This is not understood because we do not know the absolute truth. It's all relative.
所以说，这个原因的症结是在我们没办法分辨出它绝对的真理在哪里。
We live in a relative world.
我们住在这个相对的世界里面。
So when this subtle system works out and this power rises up and becomes one with this all-pervading power,
所以在这个我们的实体空间里面，它接起过来的时候，它经过各个轮环，
which this is the power which does all the living work.
所以它这个昆达里尼，它做所有的生命的工作。
We get connected with this all-pervading subtle power around us.
当我们跟这个创造的世界的能量通会的时候，
then we know the absolute truth.
到那个境界，我们就可以了解到什么是绝对的真理。
On our central nervous system.
在我们的神经系统里面，我们可以感觉到。
This is known in Sanskrit as bodh, from where the Buddha word has got bodh, to know on your central nervous system.
这个在梵文里面说的，就是说真理，在我们的身体上应该可以感觉到。
It is not just our mental idea, it is actualization of reality.
这个不是我们脑子里面的想象力，而是切切实实的可以感觉到的。
As you all can see me sitting here,
就像你可以看到我坐在这上面一样，
there is no doubt in your mind that I am sitting here.
你们绝对不会怀疑说我是不是坐在这里。
In the same way, you know the truth on your central nervous system.
同样的道理，这个真理就在你们身体的这个神经系统里面。
Whatever we have achieved in our evolutionary process, we have felt it on our central nervous system.
不管我们所做的任何事情，在这个世界上所做的任何事情，我们都可以在我们所创的神经系统里面可以感觉到。
For example, if a dog or a horse has to go through a very dirty lane, it can go easily.
举个例子来讲，一只狗或一匹马，它经过一滩烂泥巴，它很容易的就让它走下去。
But human beings cannot.
但是人类呢，你就是看到一滩水，你就没办法说这条路没办法行得通。
Because they have a subtler awareness.
因为我们人有很敏锐的这个敏感力。
So the second truth is that there is an all-pervading power of divine love.
所以第二个真理呢，就是对于一个无所不在的造物主的力量，爱的力量。
In every religion it is described.
在每一个宗教里面都提到这个爱的力量。
In Quran even it is described.
在回教的可兰经里面也提到。
And is called as Ruh.
在可兰经里面它的发音这个提到了这个 Ruh。
In Quran it is written that at this time, which he calls the Qiyamah, means resurrection time.
在可兰经里面它有记载说当人类复活的时候
Your hands will speak.
你的手会讲话。
Even in the Bible we have last judgment.
在基督教的圣经里面也有这样的记载。
Of course, in the Indian scriptures is described as Utthana, means resurrection time.
在圣经里面还有提到这个复活的时候，人类要复活的时候会到。
This is the resurrection time when you
现在这个时候就是人类复活的时候。
And people will have the spiritual awareness.
在这个时候，你会有这种灵性上的感应。
Now the spirit resides in your heart.
你从心里面感觉到这种圣灵的协作。
And the ruling, we call the God Almighty, you can call it, resides here on your fontanel bone area.
在这个无所不在造物主的这个力量，你可以感觉到在你的天灵盖上面呈现。
So when this Kundalini goes through the sixth center, it nourishes it and also it integrates.
所以这个昆达利它复活的时候，它会经过这六个中心，从头上出来。
Then you start feeling a cool breeze-like sensation of this all-pervading power.
那时候各位的手上就可以感觉到这个清凉的劳动出现。
Is described in Indian scriptures as cool, salilam, salilam.
在梵文里面还有这样子的说法。
It described in the Bible as cool breeze of the Holy Ghost.
在基督教的圣经里面还有记载说这是圣灵的流通。
The time now has come for you to know all the realities.
所以今天的时间已经到了，各位所必须知道的事情。
So first you know about your centers, means you get the self-knowledge.
所以各位在你们的中央的神经系统，你们可以感觉到它的真我真正的知识。
When you feel on your fingertips the different centers, you know what's wrong with you and what is to be corrected.
在你的手上不同样的部位，你可以感觉到你的身体上哪个地方有阻塞的现象，不适当的地方。
You'll be happy to know that in India we have 3 doctors who have got their MD in Sahaja.
你们要知道，在印度现在有3个医生，他们是研究这个沙哈加制作而得到这个医生的学位。
So it is tangible.
所以沙哈加yoga的学说是可以证实的。
If you have 10 children and cover their eyes and ask them what's wrong with this gentleman.
假如我们把10个小孩子 排在前面，把他们眼睛蒙起来，然后问他们说，站在这个10个小孩前面的这位先生有什么问题？
They are realized soul, then they will tell you only 1 or 2 fingers like burning, they will show you.
这10个小孩子，每一个都是出生就是达到自己事物的人，他们每个人都会不约而同的告诉你说，这个手指跟那个手指在痛。
Supposing they show you this finger.
几个例子来，我跟你讲这个右手的无名小指。
That means the person is suffering from lung trouble.
这个意思就是说，这个人右边的肺部有问题。
You don't have to go through the cruelties of diagnosis.
你不必去找医生去判这些诊断。
You don't have to take medicines which react.
你也不必去找医药去治疗。
Which give you other troubles.
这种药品有时候会给你另外一种副作用。
Now they are even condemning antibiotics completely. Antibiotics they are
这个就是抗生素的东西。
So, what we reach a point that whatever treatment is there available now is still relative.
所以不管这个问题的症结在哪里，到时候你可以自己手上反映出来。
But this is absolute.
但是这是绝对的。
If the diagnosis is done, is absolute.
假如诊断是对的话，
And treatment that is given is also absolute.
那么如果去诊断它，也应该是绝对的。
Maybe it may not act on about 10% people because of various reasons, but it acts at least on 90% people.
这种诊断的方法，也许有10%的人不会作用，但是90%的人大家都会实际上可以根治它。
So, we have to understand that it is done without any money. You can't pay for it.
所以这种知识你不能用金钱去补偿它。
It's a living process.
这是一个生命的过程。
How much did we pay for our evolution?
你难道我们人类演进到这个地步是用金钱去换来的吗？
How much do we pay to the Mother Earth for these beautiful flowers?
你给这个大地这个母亲付了多少钱，就得到这种漂亮的花朵？
This is your own power.
这是你自己的力量。
And in the bone sacrum, that means the Greeks knew it's a sacred bone.
所以它是由你的那个肾骨上面画出来的。
Sometimes you translate so short and sometimes so big. All right. So, now to understand that what are we? We have no way out.
所以我们要怎么去追求它？我们没有其他的方法。
Another great thing happens with Sahaja, that you achieve your present.
另外一个在撒哈拉你可以获得的东西就是眼前，是目前。
We are all the time thinking about the future or the past.
我们老是在思想，不是过去就是将来。
And a thought rises and falls off. Another thought rises, falls off.
一个思想上来，另外一个思想又上来，接踵不断。
And we are jumping on the cusp of the thought.
所以我们的脑子是在每一个思想的这种底端上在跳跃着。
We cannot be in the present.
我们没办法面对现实，面对目前这个。
The past is finished and future doesn't exist.
过去发生的已经过去了，可是将来的还没到来。
So we are not one with reality. So we are not one with reality.
所以可见我们跟现实不是在现实这一刻上面。
Because that is the present.
因为现实就是目前这一刻。
Present is the reality.
目前就是现实。
So when the Kundalini rises, she elongates these thoughts.
所以当昆达利尼上来的时候，他把这个思想的进行这样延长。
And in between the thought, there is a space, the pause, which is the present.
所以在这个思想的间隙之间，这个就是目前的一刻。
Now, that is the time you have no thoughts. You are in the area of your own peace.
这个没有思想的境界，就是你的和平安详的一刻。
That is how you are in meditation. You cannot do meditation, but you are in meditation.
这个就是说，你是在静坐的境界里面，而不是说你在做静坐的动作。
This we call as thoughtless awareness.
这个境界也叫做没有思想的境界意识。
Jung has described about it. Jung.
你自己达到这个境界。
So, when you become thoughtlessly aware,
所以说，当你在这种没有思想的境界之中，
you become the witness of the whole play.
你变成了整个这个计划的见证人。
You see the whole thing, whole world as a play.
你可以看到这个全世界这个东西就是说计划里面。
Now, supposing you have problems, it is like you are in the water and afraid of the waves.
假如说你在这种
You have problems and you are afraid of the waves.
假如你有任何问题，你害怕，你心里害怕的时候。
Waves in the water, as if. In the water, you are standing, you are afraid of the waves.
你站在那个水面上，你怕那个会淹死。
But somehow if you can come in the boat, you can see the waves.
但是假如你可以走到船上的话，
And if you can swim, you can jump and save others also.
说你会游泳的话，你看到你要淹死。
If you can swim, you can do it.
你会游泳的话，你就能做到。
In the same way, you see your problems, you witness your problems.
同样的道理，你可以看到你自己的问题，你可以自己去正视它。
You are not in it.
但是你不是在那个
And you can solve it.
因为你不在那个问题里面，所以你可以解答到这个问题。
And also you can solve the problem of others.
不但如此，你可以解决其他人的问题。
It sounds fantastic. It sounds fantastic.
说起来它实在是太好了。
But you are fantastic.
但是事实上，你们各位实在是太好了。
You have so many powers.
你们自己有这么多的。
Only thing you are not aware of them.
可惜的就是你没办法觉察到自己的力量。
Like a candle which is not yet enlightened.
就好像一个蜡烛可以点亮另外一个蜡烛一样。
But when it is enlightened, it gives light.
但是你如果说蜡烛是点亮的话，你可以点到其他烛，自己的蜡烛没有点亮，你再怎么点也点不亮别人。
I give an example of a television. If you take it to a remote village in India, where they have never seen.
我给你一个例子，在印度的乡村有很多地方没有看过电视机的地方。
And if you tell them that in this box you can see films, they'll say, "This is just a box."
你告诉他说，你在这个箱子里面，你可以看到全世界各地发生的事情。他说：“怎么可能？这只
In the same way, we too think that we are just a box.
同样的道理，我们的身体就好像一个壳子一样。
But once you are put to the maze, you are fantastic. It's all built in within you.
但是，假如你把这个电源插上去的话，你这个人就是太伟大了。
If this instrument is not connected to the maze, it has no meaning.
举个例子来，我们这里的两个麦克风，如果没有插到电源上的话，一点意义都没有。
That's why people have no identity. They don't know what to do with themselves because they think they have no identity.
也就是因为这样，所以人没办法感觉到我到底是什么人。
In England and America, they cut their hair, they do this, they do that, just because they think they have no identity.
因为这个在美国有很多这种人，就是自己没有见识，就是不晓得自己是什么人，所以他理发一样奇奇怪怪一样。
Your identity is that you are the pure entity.
你的真正的那个身份是你就是一个元神圣灵。
And then this witness state grows within you.
当这个知觉增进的时候
and you become a personality with an attention which is absolutely pure.
这种境界里面，这种知觉觉醒后，你的个人的这种人格就是更强化，更纯洁。
Christ has said, "Thou shalt not have adulterous eyes."
像耶稣基督他是那个圣人，他说你不可有遗忘的眼光。
I've been to all the Christian nations. I haven't seen anybody with that pure attention.
我在很多基督教的国家寻求，从来没有看过一个真正的基督徒说没有一样的眼光。
But this pure attention, when it is glanced at somebody,
但是，假如你有这种纯洁的这种注意的话，看到别人的话，
that person also becomes peaceful.
别人看到这个眼光，他也变成一个安静和谐，
and can be cured.
同时他的问题也会解决。
You develop another great dimension of your attention.
所以你在你的自己的注意里面，会跳到另外的境界里面去。
Where you can feel the centers of others on your fingertips.
当你可以感觉到别人的身体状况在你的自己的手上的时候，
So you become collectively conscious.
你就变成一个集合的意识力量。
That means you can feel others on your fingertips.
意思就是说，你可以在手上可以感觉到任何情况。
Now, if you know how to correct your chakras and to correct the chakras of the others, you solve the problem.
假如你可以修改自己的轮滑的问题的话，如果可以修改别人的话，那所有的问题都可以解决。
So, all this stress, strain and all that with which you suffer goes away.
所以，在这个社会上所面临的任何压力都可以消除掉。
You become an extremely dynamic personality.
你的人格变成多元化。
At the same time, you become extremely compassionate.
同时，你变成非常慈悲的人。
Thus, a new race is created
这个就是新的人类。
of people who are very wise, who are peaceful, and who are very efficient. Very wise,
人就变成很聪明、
efficient,
有效、
and compassionate.
慈悲力。
And you know everything.
同时，你也知道所有的事情。
All the subtle knowledge which was not known to you.
以前你所不知道的这种敏锐性。
Then you can understand Tao of Lao Tse. You can understand Buddha, Zen, Viditama, Christ, and all other incarnations. You get connected to them. And that is how you achieve this power. Above all, you jump into the ocean of joy. You enjoy yourself, you never bored. You enjoy others without any lust or greed. You give up all that is destructive. All that is destructive you give up. It is like this. If, say, I have a snake in my hand and there is darkness. And I am very egoist and adamant person. If you tell me there's a snake in your hand, I'll say, no, this is not a snake. This is a rope. Till the snake bites me, I will not give up. But as soon as there is a little light, I'll throw it up. In the same way, you'll be amazed that people in London gave up drugs overnight. Drug addicts gave up overnight. Because you also become very powerful. Nothing can destroy you. And you cannot destroy yourself. It happens also, as I told you, you jump in the ocean of joy. Joy is not like happiness, unhappiness. It is absolute. When your ego is pampered, you feel joy, happiness. When it is punctured, you feel unhappy. But in self-food, you are all the time in joy. Now you know I am a very old woman of 71 years. First when I came to Taiwan, it was like a shanty town, absolutely. But today what you see is such a prosperous country. But what you need is spiritual prosperity. Otherwise you cannot enjoy anything. I am sure tonight all of you will get your self-realization. I know also you have got questions. You must know I've been traveling like this for the last 24 years.
我每天都在全世界各地旅行，已经有20几年了。
And I have answered all kinds of questions.
所以各种各样的问题我都解答过，我都回答过的。
I'm quite an expert, very clever.
我变成了解答问题的专家。
But it's just a mental act.
但是解答这个问题呢，只是一种想象力，脑子之间的事。
You have to go beyond your mind.
你必须要超过这种脑子的想象力之上。
Into thoughtless awareness.
进到这个没有思想的世界。
Into the second state we call doubtless awareness.
你必须要进入这种没有。
Where you get all the powers by which you can give realizations to people.
所以在这个境界，你甚至可以给别人这种世界之物的世界。
You can do marvelous things after that, and you are amazed how fantastic you are.
可以做这种很多你自己想象不到你必要做到的事情。
Only thing is that you have to be very confident, all of you, that you will get your realization tonight.
唯一的条件，你们就是必须要，今天晚上必须要有自信。
It's very easy. Sahaja. Saha means with, J means born.
Sahaja就是这个顺势自然的。
So born with you is the right
所以
to get
在你的身体是自然而来的。
To get this yoga, the union with the divine. Yoga is not standing on your heads and all that. That is just a wee bit. It is not mental. You don't have to give up anything, don't have to go to Himalayas and stand on your heads. It's within you. Is your own. This Kundalini is your own mother, individual mother. She knows everything about you. And she's your mother who is anxious to give you your second birth, the self-realization. Now you might find people saying, I'm twice born. It's not. It's just a label, like Christian, Hindu, Muslim, it's just a label. Because you may be Hindu, Christian, Muslim, anything, you can commit any sin. And these organizations that they have formed in the name of religion are just money oriented. Can't you see that? They are either social institutes, social clubs, or they are power oriented. They are power oriented. None of them are spirit oriented. So you shouldn't blame the religions, but the people who have done this. In Sahaja you will know that all these religions were born on the tree of spirituality. One tree.
在沙哈教静坐里面，你可以感觉到所有的宗教都是同样一棵树长出来的。
But the people took out the flowers.
但是人类呢，把这个花朵摘下来。
They took out the living flowers, and now they are fighting with the dead flowers.
他们这个摘下活生的花朵，就在为了这个死去的花朵而争吵。
I'm sure today you all will get your self-realization. But there is one thing, I respect your freedom. If you don't want to have it, I cannot force on you.
假如你不想得到它的话，我没办法强迫你。
I would request you that in that case, you should leave the house.
我有一个要求，假如你没有性计划，你现在就应该离开这里。
It will create no problem. It will not harm you, and you will get your realization.
这个我们绝对不会任何说伤害到的这种过程。
It's like the sprouting of the seed.
就好像种子发芽一样。
But then you have to attend our collective, in the sense, our programs which are follow on.
所以在这个时候，你们必须来参加随后来的一系列的这个活动，来从这个集合集体的地方去练习。
You don't have to pay for that also, for the whole knowledge. Nothing is needed. But it cannot be forced on you.
同时，你也不能去强迫你自己。
Of course, it is not meant for idiots, you see, that's one
同时，
thing.
它这种东西也不是给很
And for arrogant people. Also for arrogant people.
也不是给很高傲的得到的，高傲的得不到的。
You have to be humble about it.
你必须做一个谦虚的人，你才能得到这个东西。
You don't have to give anything,
你不必付出任何代价，
but you have to receive something.
但是你要接受。
There's no obligation of any kind.
这里面没有任何的义务，
It is your own power
这是你属于你自己的东西，
which will manifest itself.
它自己会表扬光大出来。
So I would request again, those who want to go can go, because it will take about 10 minutes. But when we are doing the process, I don't want anybody to be getting up and walking off.
所以我现在在跟各位要求没有心机得到这个人，现在可以离开场地，因为等一下我们只需要10分钟的时间。你如果站起来的话，我可以干扰到其他人。